10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
PokerStars announces the World Championship of Online Poker.
$2.1 million.
More than 10,000 players.
33 events this year.
And for the first time, $1 million score. WCOOP 2009, what a
Over
year.
$2.2 million for first. That's
The
insane.
taxi driver who satellited in takes home $1 million. Crown-up guy is the world
This kid is
champion.
1-to-1.
Sean Deeb consistently crushing WCOOP.
What a lineup.
Adrenaline 710, 5 titles in one series. And it's PT Fisherman who reels in the main event trophy.
2021, the year of Talal.
WCOOP is still the title every online player wants to win.
This is where world champions are made.
Welcome to the PokerStars Arena and the 2022 World Championship of Online Poker. We're into the second week of the series. This is the fourth of our Cards Up live streams, and it's the second World Championship event that we've covered. Today we find out who's going to take down the 5K 6-max No Limit Hold'em. 168 entries, 7 players remaining, only one will win that top prize of more than 170 grand. Hello everyone, I'm James Harskin, alongside me Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And Joe, I know it's confusing to have 7 players at the final table of a 6-max event, and I'm sure we'll face many questions about that over the course of the evening, or until at least someone gets eliminated. Let's get straight to that final table, actually, because play is underway. So let's see who's made the FT, who is in contention to be the world champion of 6-max No Limit Hold'em. And as you'd expect, there are some familiar names, some familiar avatars in the mix.
Oh yeah. I'm seeing a big old big-eyed Bugs Bunny.
That will be Sammy Kellepero, Lars Luzak, a 2-time WCOOP winner. We've got a 3-time WCOOP champ at this table. Sweeney with the 3s. That is Ronan Sweeney from the UK. Howard talked about Ronan last week, winning his 3rd title, same night as Benny Glaser. And the player who is the chip leader coming into this final table with more than 5.5 million is Alberto Moran, playing from the Dominican Republic, an interesting, I should say, international spread of players. We'll run through all the nations in a moment. First of all, let me introduce to you Maria Ho. Hello, Maria.
Hey.
So,
I don't
Maria,
like
I'm sure
my picture getting smaller, but at least Maria is the reason for that happening.
Joe, as I say to you, pretty much every single broadcast or every single project we work on, it's not all about you. It is about the players at this final table, and we have got Wushu TM, Thomas Mulocker playing from Austria, Centaurus, bloody cat with a lipstick, Germany represented by Centaurus, Sweeney's in the UK, Sammy Kellepero, Lars Luzak is Finnish, Sergio Aido, who plays on PokerStars as Zedric, is playing from Mexico. Future of Me, that is Alex Kulev, a player who we saw win a WCOOP last week. And then we have Alberto M7 from Dominican Republic. Alex is playing from Ireland. We know that Alex is originally Bulgarian, but remember, it's where your account is registered that matters when it comes to counting nations in the World Championship of Online Poker. So
Lars taking a stab there, running into the pair of 4s.
yeah, and this was a case of Sammy Kellepero being behind pre-flop and behind on the flop, was losing to ace high, was losing to a pair of 4s, has improved to a pair of 10s. And I wonder if we'll see Lars Luzak go for value here. 493,000 in the middle, bets 245,000. with a pair of fours, does Sergio Aido pay him off?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, I think the turn pairing the 6 makes it a check back a lot of the times for the aggressor. So it definitely looks like they can be checking back a hand as good as ace queen there sometimes, and then value betting that on the river once check 2 again. So that is a very nice fold from Sergio.
And now we have a couple of pocket pairs. Alex Kulev. It was the 5K PKO high roller we covered on Tuesday of last week that Alex won for $113,600. Here's a hashtag fun fact. As we see both players flop a set. Alex won a $530 bounty builder a couple of days ago as well, outside of W Coop. But this is insane, and you've got to wonder, can Sergio Aido avoid going broke here, Maria?
Yeah, this is pretty gross. I'm glad I didn't have a big breakfast because I would lose it.
Straight card on the turn. There you go. That could help.
Okay. That definitely will slow the action down.
$225,000 the bet from Kulev.
Yeah, there's a lot of different turns that we would have seen Zedric possibly check raise with the set, or, you know, come in on the river with the raise, but here they can do nothing but call. Oh my gosh, no.
A full house for both players, and any chance that Sergio Aido could have been saved by the threat of the straight has just disappeared on this river. 1.1 in the middle, 1.4 the effective stack. That is Sergio's stack. $800,000, a pretty committing bet. Future of Me will probably take a beat and then will shove, or at least raise enough to put Aido all in, and I can't see him folding, Maria.
Neither player is ever worried about, like, pocket kings or king 10.
No, of course, I think when the raise comes in, Sergio will be worried about that, but it's tough. You've committed over, 80% of your stack almost by the river here, so what could you really do, even though it just doesn't look like a line that somebody would ever take on a paired board as a bluff? Clearly, even with ace queen, they wouldn't be doing this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you just feel like you're beat.
Well, we can see that Sergio does have more than 2 minutes of time bank left to use, and I'm guessing that a lot of this time bank will be played here, Maria.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be many more important spots I think Sergio will face in this final table than this one. It's obviously very crucial, and having played with Sergio a lot, I've seen him make some really big folds, and he was correct as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him being able to get away from this.
This will be excellent.
I mean, the thing we have to salute here is the fact that he is thinking this long. I think most people watching this stream, and certainly at least two of the people in the arena right now, would have called and been out already.
I think the main thing is...
I would have snap folded personally. I'm always beat here.
If you believe that your opponent in this spot would bet sets and some two-pair type combinations on the turn with a four-liner to a straight, then it's obviously not out of the realm of possibility that they've boated up now on the river. But if you think that those are the hands that they might check back and they would only be betting straights on the turn, then of course you feel like there's some room for nines full to have your opponent beat. But we saw Future of Me obviously very clearly, even with that four-liner, not very deterred and betting a set. So I think that's one of Sergio's main considerations.
Well, is going to have to make a decision in the next 40 seconds. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is that Sergio might be able to find a fold, and we do not have an animation for a hero fold, but this would be the time to play it. "15 seconds. Folds! Lets it go, lays down the worst hand, and lives to fight, stays in contention. Wow.
Victura on Twitch says, if he folds, I eat my sock. Well, time to tuck in, buddy.
Oh, I hope they're clean. That was an incredible fold, Maria. As you said, if anyone was capable of making that laydown, it is a player of Sergio Aido's caliber. Is now short, of course, has 640k. Blinds will go to 30-60 inside of 10 minutes.
What really is sometimes frustrating about those situations, though, is you make that great fold. Now you've got, like, what is this, like 15 big blinds or something. And then you just, like, have to get it in some marginal spot after this. But you do have a shot, at least.
Right. As long as you're still in, you always have a shot.
Incredible. Set over set sickness on the flop, which develops into house over house grotesqueness on the river. Sergio betting 800,000 and folding for his last 650. Incredible stuff. Meanwhile, top pair and the flush draw for the chip leader. Future of me with middle pair. And there is the third diamond on the board. And Alberto Moran, playing from the Dominican Republic, now has the nut flush. A player with 250k in live earnings, has not yet won a W Coupe title.
Yeah, and obviously this hand is so under-repped in so many ways, between just the flat call pre and then the check back on the flop.
$6 million now.
Alex Kulev back in action, sitting in second place on the leaderboard. Started the hand with just shy of 4 million, opening here with ace-8 of clubs. Round to Thomas Mulocker, who has 6-5 offsuit. I guess now that Sergio Aido is short, Maria, that will mean everyone else might be a little bit more cautious and hope that he busts in seventh, cashes out for 35k, and they can all ladder up to 43k.
Yeah, that's definitely the standard way that I think most players would approach this situation when there is one player that's very glaringly short. But there's always some wild cards in the mix. I don't really see them in this player pool right now, but
Chip leader opening here with ace-6 of clubs. And Sami Kelapuro with queen 10 of diamonds, suited Broadway cards in the cutoff. Mentioned at the start that Sami has 2 W Coupes. He won his second last year, took down the 2K6 Max for 82,800. I believe that was one of the events we streamed. Decides to 3-bet. And it works.
Goes after that loose open from the chip leader.
Blind v blind. 1 and 2 in chips. Ace deuce completes.
you see how with the ICM pressure, Sweeney just folds 8-6 suited from the button because you're opening into the chip leader's big blind, so you know it's going to be a tough one to get through. But would have flopped a flush, but you know we don't play results.
Well, ace deuce holds. Was the best hand pre. Pair of aces on the flop, and they are good. 60,000 into 142,000. Just queen high for Alberto Moran, who calls. I'm guessing you're going to tell me, Maria, that was a pretty standard call.
I think as played, and for that size on the river, I think it's pretty standard. But if I had the hero call buttons in front of me, I wouldn't press it if he failed or if he was successful in that spot. I think
I was so
Not hero-y
confused I
enough
didn't
either
even
way.
consider it. I was just it was baffling rather than to my puny brain. Ace 10 versus sixes, and that is a set of sixes for Alex Kulev. I guess Ronan Sweeney can take solace in the fact that he hasn't really connected with this board, and maybe calls the flop with ace high, but can probably get away from this on the turn.
2 sets in one day, though, for the same player. That's crazy.
yeah, Sweeney did decide to take one off there with the 2 overs and the backdoor straight possibility that doesn't materialize. So now I think they will just end up check folding this hand, but sometimes you get a little curious, when you are the pre-flop aggressor and you check it over to somebody who flatted, and you just expect that a lot of the times they are going to bet whether they have it or not because you're giving up the betting lead. But again, with the ICM pressure, you do sometimes just have to let these marginal spots go.
So confirmation that now we're at the final table of this event. The blind levels are 30 minutes long. We have just gone to 30,000, 60,000. Sergio Aido now playing a sub 10 big blind stack. Meanwhile, pocket aces for Ronan Sweeney, opening to 120k. Round to Thomas Mulocker in the big blind. King Jack offsuit. The old Kojak. Oh, wow. And it's an open-ended straight draw for Wushu, but does not improve on the turn or river. That is a double up for Sweeney, and Wushu is left with less than a big blind.
So what were you saying before about no one being that crazy at this table to, to the old ICM Empire State Building jump?
I guess, Maria, that with all the whole cards revealed, that shove with King Jack looks horrible, but I'm guessing that against a lot of hands, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of situations, you just expect that your opponent will have some raise folds there, and they're not going to risk what was a lot of their stack to call off against your shove. But I think, with Future of Me and Alberto, the big stacks behind, and Sweeney still finding an open there, it maybe should have clued Wushu in a little bit. That range is going to be pretty strong.
Was crippled in one hand, and then the very next hand, Future of Me finished him off. Thomas Mulocker, Wushu TM, first player out, cashed for just over 35k. Sergio Aido not only got the ladder rather, but could now get the double with kings. Certainly is able to hang around for longer. And I imagine Alberto will fold here. Oh, or is Alberto priced in, Maria?
Yeah, it's pretty close. You know that Zedric's shoving range over your open is going to be really strong. But yeah, they are able to get away because it's not a PKO, guys. So
exactly,
it's going to be a fold.
And also worth highlighting that Sergio Aido won a decent pot there. Certainly has chipped up nicely to around 900,000. Still the shortest stack, but now playing closer to 15 big blinds than 10 big blinds as we see Sweeney back in action with sixes, likely to meet resistance from the chip leader in the big blind. Oh.
Or
Ooh.
Alex Kulev getting funky with the 10-8 of strawberries.
These guys don't even know what ICM stands for. They don't care.
And here comes the 4-bet from Ace Queen in the big blind. A fold from the original Razor.
Yeah, and this sizing might entice Future of Me to call, but I guess they decided they don't want to play out of position against the chip leader, but definitely not a big sizing.
Interesting that we get this question from Killbunker on Twitch now that we are six-handed. What was the main reason to change final table to 7 in 6-max? It's always the case, and the same thing happens in 8-max as well, where we have a 9-handed feature table. It's purely because you want to be hand for hand with even numbers. So, for example, 2 tables of 5, and then you merge when you have a table of 4 and a table of 5. And the same is true of 6-max, where you're going to be 2 tables of 4. Now, if you were to play on at 2 tables, you'd have uneven tables, a table of 4 and a table of 3. It's fairer to the players to merge at 7 and just call that the final table.
I mean, that would be pretty weird to be playing 3-handed.
I can't remember where it happened. It was somewhere in the UK where they had a 6-max event where on the final table bubble, they had a table of 4 and a table of 3, and after every orbit, they would balance a player over. And, I mean, that's ridiculous online. Can you imagine what that's like live?
You could just about do it online instantaneously, but man, oh man, what a headache.
Well, open-ended on the flop. Alberto now with a pair of queens as well on the turn. 93% favorite. And looks like this pot will be going the way of the chip leader. Up to 6.5 million now. Significant distance between himself and Future of Me. Alex Kulev, who sits in second place on the leaderboard. A reminder that Sergio Aido remains the shortest stack with 725k. Sweeney opening with ace queen.
It's like Future of Me just knows that they're not going to flop a set this hand because all the other 6s are dead, and they're just like, it's not going to happen for the 3rd time, not this time.
You're going to take one off.
Yeah.
Alberto opening with Jack 10. Ace deuce suited for Sweeney in the big. Defends. Does not really connect. Instead, it's the gut shot for Alberto. Bet to the minimum. Gets a fold.
It's good to be a chip leader.
With Mulaka going out in 7th place, by the way, everyone is now locked up 43.5 grand. You can see the payouts underneath the table, and obviously, as in every MTT, significant jump with every KO. 6-figure scores for the top 2, 129,500 for the runner-up, more than 170k, and the championship trophy for the winner. Ace 6-3 on the flop. It's top pair for Sweeney, nothing for Future of Me.
Yeah, and with this being a limped pot, blind versus blind, Sweeney obviously just trying to disguise the strength of their hand at this point.
Future of Me drawing dead on the turn. Top pair and the nut flush draw. What is not to love about this situation if you're Sweeney?
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better is if you got your opponent to stab again on the turn, but now it looks like Sweeney is going to have to go for value himself.
Yeah. Gets the fold. Ace 10. Want to make a stand with this hand?
Yup.
And No one has a calling hand. And Aido chips up. Now posts the big blind, has Jack 8. I'm guessing the action will come from Alberto in the small blind with Ace 7 of clubs. And that is going to bring this session to a close. So 6 players remain in the 5K World Championship of 6 Max No Limit Hold'em. We are now into the second week of W Coupe 2022. So, where do things stand? What are we looking at in terms of prize money? What have been the biggest achievements of the last few days? Answers to those questions and more, because we're going to use this 5-minute break to take a deep dive into the World Championship of Online Poker. With our W Coupe correspondent. He's got the looks, he's got the brains, he's Howard Swains. Howard, we have not checked in since Wednesday, so please give us the updated series stats.
Okay, we now have 96 completed tournaments and there have been 300,000 entries. The total series prize pool is now past $26 million. That is more than 4.2 million has been paid to the winners. We have 16 tournaments ongoing, all those big Sundays, and there are 10 more tournaments starting today. So big numbers indeed.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be surprised they got significantly bigger since we last spoke. It didn't take long for us to have our first double champion of the series, did it?
Yeah, that's right. And it's not just one either. We now already have 7 double champions. Actually, on Thursday night, we had 3. So Benny Glaser, Robin Ilitalo, and Onion Dimov all won their second of the series. 3 of the biggest names winning their second title. And since then, we've had 2 titles for Rui Ferreira. We know him very well as well. And players called Getting Pwned, Norma Lisa, and Alligator 14.
I'm glad people still use the word pwned. There were 2 world championships last week. The horse was streamed this afternoon. Badoogie tomorrow. If you don't want spoilers, close your ears because Howard, I need to know.
Well, it is all about Norway. Norwegian players won both of those world championships. So one of our regular coupe names, Chilalini, he won the horse. And then Alligator 14, just mentioned him there as a double champion. He won the Badoogie, he or she, don't know actually, but he or she won the Badoogie. So Norwegians are crushing. They have 5 titles already in this W Coupe.
5, isn't that the same as Brazil?
Well, yeah, the last time we spoke it was, but that is last week's news, I'm afraid, because Brazil has gone nuts and they now have 22 titles. Honestly, there have been Brazilian flags all over the place. They won 10 titles on Thursday. I'm pretty sure that's the most anyone has ever won in a single night. Then another 7 on Saturday and 3 last night. They now have a lead of 15 on their nearest challenger, which is the UK. And the UK, remember, back then, they were leading.
I did say it wouldn't last, and we celebrated it for the 5 minutes that it lasted, Howard. Finally, before you leave us, player of the series. I know there's still a long way to go, but where are we at?
Well, right now, Kelvin Kerber, a Brazilian, leads the low, the high, and the overall leaderboard. But interestingly, he hasn't actually won a title yet, so maybe that will change soon. We have Rui Ferreira, Patrick Leonard, João Vieira. They're all contention in that overall leaderboard. So it's shaping up very nicely, actually. It's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, and we will watch it, obviously, over the course of the coming days and weeks. One of the events starting today, of course, is another championship, PLO8. That's what we'll be streaming tomorrow, and that's when we will next talk to you. Howard, for now, thank you very much.
Goodbye. Have a good night.
Should highlight that Kelvin Kerber, who is leading that player of the series race, would have got more points in this event, finishing 9th, but no longer in contention for that championship trophy. One of these 6 players will be claiming that and the first prize of more than 170k as we allow Mr. Stapleton to go on break. Leaving me and Maria to analyse the action and I guess discuss, Maria, what happened during the first session of play, during the first 25 minutes of this final table. And it was almost preemptive when we said, okay, everyone will probably now sit back and take it easy. Sergio Aido's been crippled. He's now the short stack. And then we saw I don't know, is blow up too harsh a term? I guess a questionable shove from Wushu, made more questionable when we can see he ran King Jack into aces.
Yeah, I think maybe unnecessary is the word that I would choose. It just was a spot where, given the situation, you could just call and sit back and see what happens. But I'm sure Sergio and the rest of the table was fine with that shove.
Well, action has restarted, and we still have more than 20 minutes to play at the 30-60 blind level. Average stack right now, 2.8 million. Alberto Moran from the Dominican Republic is the chip leader right now with 6.6 million. Sergio Aido, a.k.a. Zedric, is the shorty and has gone to the flop here against Lars Luzak. And it is a straight draw versus a pair of eights. Sergio betting. And gets there on the turn.
Yeah, pretty interesting card because, you know, for Lars Luzak, it also gives him an open-ended straight draw now. And with this really small sizing, you know, you really have a lot of equity to continue against this particular sizing. I think you know that your opponent could have a lot of 7Xs here, but still going to come along.
Well, Sergio all in on the river, 440 into 690. Sami Kelapuro with just an 8 here on a straighty flushy board, lets it go, and Sergio's up over $1 million. In fact, Sergio Aido, Sami Kelapuro, Centaurus, all pretty similarly stacked now, Maria.
Yeah, and it's all because Sergio saved his tournament life earlier with the boat against a bigger boat. And a lot of the times I think, you know, things start looking a little bleak because you're not sure if you made the right fold yet, but now you're probably going to be feeling pretty good about it.
So Aido opening on the button with 7-6 suited. Ace-9 off for Lars Luzak. Meanwhile, Centaurus, oh wow, wakes up with 10s in the big blind. Kelapuro shoving here, and I don't see how Centaurus doesn't call all in here.
Yeah, I mean, your only hope if you elect to fold is that Cedric has a hand that they're going to be able to get in with, and then you could ladder, but of course 10's just too strong.
And it's a set of 10s. 2 pair, no good. This is an irrelevant Barry. Centaurus has doubled, and now it's Lars Luzak who is super short, left with 155k after doubling up Centaurus. Now, Maria, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We've got Sergio all in here, but 7s don't call. Assuming, and granted, I know it's not guaranteed, but assuming Lars Luzak busts in 6th place now that he is short stacked, that fold of that full house will have earned Sergio Aido $22,000 by laddering from 7th to 5th.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, you wonder if in these spots you can make a big fold, but then you see that it's necessary. You know that you don't have the best hand, even if you commit a lot of chips in that pot. As long as you're able to save your tournament life and be correct, then anything can happen from that point.
Wow, it's all kicking off here. Now Ace-5 all in against Ace-7. Centaurus can't possibly call this. And I guess that's what Future of Me knows deep down. And I should highlight, of course, that it looks likely that Sergio Aido will get at least an extra 22 grand. Of course, could continue laddering. Is still in contention for the title trophy and the first prize as we see Lars Luzak all in.
Nom 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 nom.
And Ace-7 flats. Is Sergio going to allow this, or do you think we get an isolation raise now? Alberto coming along with Jack Deuce.
Yeah, I mean, Sergio chose to limp, you know, and then now shoving to ISO, which I think is a really interesting play. I like that.
And there is Broadway on the river, the straight for Sergio Aido, and that is the elimination of Sami Kelapiro, the Finn. Lars Luzak out in 6th place for 43.5 grand, leaving us with the final 5. And what a comeback we're seeing from Sergio Aido right now. M. Jizer, why first and second of the Sunday Million isn't the same? Usually KO, tourneys, depends on bounty and heads up. No, this is not the Sunday Million. If you're referring to the payouts in this event, this is not the Sunday Million, nor is it a PKO. Ace 10 and Ace 10.
Future of me definitely expecting Sergio to be opening a pretty strong range from under the gun off of that stack size. But does choose to attack it.
Well, Ace 10 of Hearts is most definitely free rolling.
Definitely an uncomfortable spot, I think, for Future of me to really know definitively how to proceed with this type of flop. You know, you have your opponent, you can see them going for just this tiny bet here because there's not a whole lot that they could do, right? If they bet bigger and commit themselves even further and they get shoved on, they obviously have to fold. And
wow.
Yeah, just a third pot bet now. Sergio trying to get the full double here, just about half pot back.
Had a sub 10 big blind stack not that long ago, is going to win a huge pot here. And is now up to 2.38 million. So has now taken 3rd place on the leaderboard, Maria. It is Sweeney who is the shortest stack right now. Not a short stack, but is officially in bottom place of the rankings. Another solid hand for Sergio Aido. Re-raising here with jacks. Blinds will be up in 12 minutes' time. So Sergio is a player with $14.2 million in live earnings. Back in 2019, won the 100k buy-in event at EPT Monte Carlo, the super high roller. That was worth 1.6 million. Doesn't have a W Coupe win yet, though. Talk about players going for multiple World Championship of Online Poker titles. This would be Sergio's first, and if you are going to win your maiden W Coupe, what better event to do it in than a World Championship?
Yeah, Sergio's been playing for a long time, and obviously not only a really good online player, but has really great live results as well.
Ace-9 under the gun open from Future of Me. Alex Kulev, winner of last week's PKO High Roller. Best result to date, though, is still that scoop win early this year, the 5K Thursday Thrill for nearly $250,000. He's still ahead right now with second pair top kicker. Are you saying hello individually to every single person watching on YouTube right now?
Not individually, just occasionally when I look down and I can see that somebody's saying something. I should have like an auto script. I wonder if
I was
you
going
could
to
do
say,
that. Program
I
it.
thought for a moment you had like the viewer list open. It's like, you know, hi you, hi you, hi. Kulev still in second place on the leaderboard with 3.7 million. And we've got Sweeney with the Grafton, 10-9 suited.
It feels like Future of Me has been fairly active, and, you know, even with Alberto, the chip leader, being to their direct left, which is something that you don't always see. You don't always see somebody who is willing to kind of go for it, even feeling a little handcuffed by the chip leader.
Yeah.
But
Angel Shot asks, how's it going, James? It's going. Thank you for your question. I realise I've landed you in it now, having highlighted the fact that you were giving personal shout-outs to viewers on YouTube. Now everyone in Twitch wants some love, Maria. And just to answer G-Man's question, as we see Sergio Aido flop top pair here. No, it did not only pay top 7. We're just streaming the final table, which was 7-handed. 19 players made the money, as we referenced at the start of the stream. 168 total entries, prize pool of 840k, 127 unique players, 41 re-entries, 19 made it into the money. They played down to 7 last night, and those 7 players came back today to play for the win. And Sergio now a 93% favourite, and now has a lock on it.
Cedric likely to go at some point for value. I thought maybe the river was going to be it, but just going to play it as a bluff catcher, it looks like.
No offence was taken, Cristobal, and I appreciate being a solid. This surely is not going to induce a fold. Top pair too good, right?
Yeah, I assume that when Sergio checked it over, he was going to play it as a bluff catcher, but now a little more than a bluff catcher. Not afraid.
Instincts are on point today, Maria. He knows when to hold them, he knows when to fold them, and he knows when to raise as well. Before you know
Certainly
it,
very
Sergio's
impressive.
going to be second in chips. He's closing in on Future of Me now. That's right, Tom. If I had my way, this event will be the World Championship of Six Max NLHT. I will be using the full name of this variant, which is No Limit Hold'em, rather than the abbreviation. Jacks for Centaurus as Future of Me opens with King 8 of clubs.
I wish I was like Stapes and had some post-its handy, because then I would just use it just to cover up where Centaurus's avatar is, because it's so disturbing every time.
And you know me, Maria, I love a cat avatar. This does not count.
No. Feels like animal cruelty is what that is. Nobody should be putting lipstick on a cat.
Now, Spraggy often describes Centaurus as his nemesis. Centaurus has the hand named after Spraggy. Ace 7 offsuit. Opens on the button to 120k. Future of Me defends with 5-3. Has a straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. Ace high still the best hand for now, but look at the equities. It's close. Future of Me has checked. Centaurus checks, and that's a 7 on the turn. An interesting card because it does give Centaurus a pair, also gives Future of Me a flush draw. In fact, it is a street flash draw.
Yeah, Future of Me with the straight. Now, with that 9 pairing, I think they're going to be able to extract a little more value.
Indeed, had the best of it on the turn. Did not improve to the flush or the straight flush on the river.
Yeah, the obvious misdraw being the clubs from the flop. You know, Centaurus might be inclined, especially, look, this sizing is actually in trying to induce a raise, which they get.
Oh, gets it.
It's so nice when this works out. You know, sometimes you go for a really small sizing in a situation where some players might go bigger, trying to get paid off and being a little bit greedy with their straight. But this sizing really got Centaurus to think that. Oh, wow, just calls.
Okay, Centaurus, the shortest stack of the 5 remaining players, just shy of 2 million. And I guess if I'm going to highlight a positive thing about everyone having a playable stack right now, Maria, is that we are seeing people play through the streets and we are seeing people play creatively. We haven't got the ICM handcuffs stopping anyone from playing a hand.
Yeah, everybody's definitely comfortable enough and everyone is good enough to know how to maneuver post-flop, whereas, you know, if you are a less experienced player, you might elect to fold more hands because you don't want to be put into uncomfortable spots. But this is the World Championship of Six Max. I think these players are fearless.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about solid. We have got no weak spots at this final table. Down to the final 5. As we see, Future of Me open the button with ace-9 suited. Gets a call from Sergio Aido with Trey Deuce of hearts. There's a pair of 9s on the flop for Alex Kulev. Oh, flush draw on the turn. And there is the flush on the river. Meanwhile, Parsley on YouTube is building a poker table, wants advice on what colour he should make the felt. And let me now unleash 1,000,001 different opinions from which Parsley will be able to draw no meaningful conclusion. Um, 10-8 versus 10-8.
Oh,
And
goodness gracious. I'm not
You know where this
ready.
is going. You know where this is going. I mean, Alberto does have the 8 of diamonds.
And I will say that the silver lining is that this won't be a three-way chop pot song. And that usually is a little harder for me.
Don't start making excuses or, worse, setting yourself up to fail before we do it.
You're right. I need to change my attitude. You're right. It's all up here.
Embrace your inner Griffin Benja and just go for it. I can think of no other occasion where I would offer that advice, by the way.
I was just going to say, certainly not applicable for anything else in life.
Look at Centaurus trying to play it cool. Oh, if only you knew. Well, this is a chop pot. And Maria, you know what they say.
Everyone loves a chop pot.
Pretty bad is the review that I've just been given. Pretty bad.
Don't you think, James, I'm not trying to pass the blame. I'm just saying that I feel like you started a little later than normal.
It's always very difficult to try and guess how long the delay is. And, thank God we've got something to
no.
distract us.
I know. Let's spam chat with a cooler alert or something so we
Yeah.
don't have to see the reviews instead.
Yeah. The good news is the delay from LA is not that long today. So let's focus on the positive and let's focus on this re-raise from Sergio Aido. Sweeney, you can fold the sevens. And now let's see this cooler unfold.
Yeah, and Alberto really just wondering if they were to shove, if Cedric has a good enough hand to call with, considering a lot of the times, with ICM. There will be some 3-bet folds, I think, in Sergio's range, but obviously ace is not one of them.
And aces are holding. And aces are good. That is a double up. And we have a new chip leader. Short stack half an hour ago. And now the dominant force, Sergio Aido, Cedric, has 5.8 million. Alberto drops down into second place. Pretty much level in chips with Future of Me. Absolutely. How big was that fold with nines now?
Yeah, and it doesn't always work out that way. A lot of the times you make a great fold, but then you just don't pick up any momentum after that. But it's nice to see when it works out.
Yeah. Now, I appreciate people trying to help the synchronicity of the Chop Pot song. But Mike, a 3-2-1 countdown is not going to help. The issue is the delay. I'm in the PokerStars arena. Maria is in Los Angeles. It's very difficult to work out how long that delay is. That's why you get those sometimes awkward pauses in the conversation, or you step on each other, trying to work around that. If we were in the same space as we were during EPC Barcelona, every chop pot was perfect. I mean, okay, close to perfect.
I was good. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but I also didn't want to out myself because I feel like there was one time where Stapes told me it was me, but
we have aces on the button here for Alex Kulev. And Kulev putting some distance, a whole million chips between himself and Alberto Moran. Jose, what did I just say about why a countdown or count-in wouldn't work? I appreciate everyone trying to help, but just stop. Which, to be fair, is what most people say to us about the Chop Pot song. Just stop. But, you know, got to amortize the cost of this animation. Got to use it at least another 200 times before we break even on that. Interesting.
Trying to find, trying to find a light 3-bet against Sergio's button open, but Sergio had a hand that was good enough to call with.
And is that a case of position being the key factor in that hand, Maria? With King Jack offsuit, are you less likely to call if you're out of position?
I think that given the sizing, which wasn't very big, because the effective stack is a bit shorter, I think that you're almost always going to call King Jack.
Okay.
Centaurus gonna give up now.
Centaurus, run away! Run away! Blinds have gone up, by the way, to 35,000 at 70,000. Centaurus playing fewer than 20 big blinds right now. Is on the button with King Queen. Will they get to open the action? Ace 8 folds. 8-6 of diamonds opens. Look at Aido using that chip lead and wielding that stack.
And Centaurus certainly has a good enough hand to go with. They're the shortest stacks, so they have the least amount of ICM pressure. And they also have fold equity, which are all very good things in this situation.
Yeah. Centaurus staying afloat. And Sweeney doesn't have that much more than Centaurus right now. Pocket fours flatting from the small. 4-3 coming along as well. Ace, Queen, 7 on the flop. Pair of fours the best hand, but a lot of live cards for Zedric. That is one of them. The 10 on the turn. 97.6%. Nice.
Future of me just trying to turn this hand into a bluff. Gets through Alberto. Not so sure it's going to get through Sergio, although it does look pretty strong to have flatted from the small blind and then to also bet into 2 opponents there on the turn.
Barry Greenstein makes an appearance. That ace on the river.
Definitely a case of your perceived range when you call from the small blind versus your actual holding, because when you call from the small blind, you will have a lot of strong aces, you know, even hands like ace jack and ace queen in this spot would have called. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I completely understand why they're trying to take advantage of a spot where it looked like Sergio was weak, which he was. Again, Future of Me just kind of showing us that no matter what their stack size is or how they are in the pecking order, they're still going to find spots to chip up.
Blind v blind here. Alberto with ace deuce. Gets raised by jack 8. Ace 8 opening Sweeney. Raise and take it. Cedric with 7-6 suited. Sweeney with a dominating hand. Ace 7 in the big blind. Defends. And ace high is currently ahead. But look at Sergio Aido betting the turn, get to fold. Marie, I've seen this conversation on YouTube. Moose saying that Joe still owes you dinner. What is the story of this dinner? Because it seems to be going on for forever.
Well, James, it was on one of our broadcasts, a Sunday Million, I'm pretty sure, where it came up that, I don't know, a couple of things about how I always treat Stapes when he's out with me, and then we bet on an over-under of when we thought that, I think maybe it was it down to how many players would be left, when it would get to heads up, or when we would just be finished.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this.
We bet dinner, a very nice dinner, which, shocking, but not shockingly, Stapes has not taken me out and paid his bet. So, I don't know, it's been, what, 3-4 months?
Feels like
He's been
longer,
ducking me, I'm not going to lie.
And look, I'm well aware of what his working hours are. He's got plenty of time on his hands, so there's really no excuse.
Yeah, I mean, I've messaged him several times trying to get together, and he just seems to ignore it. He'll ask me something else, be like, "Oh, how's the weather?" But it's not surprising.
Well, clubs for both players here. Future of me with the nutted clubs. But there's a 7 on the flop, so this is Centaurus right now. 3-1 favourite. Centaurus still ahead with that 10 on the turn.
Yeah, Centaurus really trying to find showdown as cheaply as possible with this part of their range. You know, certainly not strong enough to ever bet themselves, and isn't going to be able to get to the river, unfortunately.
Jesus asks, what do you guys think of bad beat bonuses at the casino? I don't mind them. Back in the day, played in a cash game at Excalibur on the strip, where the chips stuck together and the cards were must have been marked because there were scratch marks all over them. And I think I lost with a full house to quad, so got to spin the wheel, Maria, for the bad beat jackpot, and won an Excalibur t-shirt, which promptly was destroyed the first time it ever went near a washing machine. Was not particularly high quality.
I thought you were going to say, which you still have to this day.
I would treasure it. I would wear it on broadcasts and tell the story behind it, but I no longer have that t-shirt.
It's actually surprising that Excalibur is still around, actually.
Yeah. That was in the summer of 2005. It was during the World Series. And, of course, they were broadcasting the previous year's World Series on all of the TV, on ESPN around that time. So all the screens around the poker room were showing that. And at the table, and I didn't know who she was until she spoke up, was David Williams' mother. And every time he appeared on screen, you go, "There's my David!" You remember she was quite an excitable lady.
Yeah, she's very, very sweet.
Ace Jack versus Queen Jack. And despite having the straight draw, Sweeney is a pretty big dog here, but decides to bet the turn and gets a fold from the better hand. Well, I see two players with King 10. And that means there is the prospect of a chop pot. And that means we have our shot at redemption, Maria. Oh,
Okay,
Centaurus
so
Mode just
should I...
ruined it.
I was going to say, well, let's still prep. Let's still workshop this real quick. So do I still start at the same time and you're going to go
Yes.
a
Yes,
little
I'll go
bit sooner?
sooner.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. We're on the same page. That's a good start.
Wow. Aina makes the call. And
Oh,
open-ended street flash draw, which doesn't get there. That was a huge call. We'll discuss that in a moment, because the urgent thing to say here is that was a chop pot. And you know what they say? Everyone loves a chop pot. That was gold. That
Was it?
was a win.
gold?
That made it all worth it.
You guys flatter me so in chat. Thank you. I needed that for my self-confidence. I'm not going to lie. It was very,
Look.
very low.
I'd love to do a Stapleton and bask in the attention and glory, but I do feel we need to discuss that call. I think that Sergio Aguilar's decision-making has been exemplary throughout. That felt like a big call there with King 10 suited. I know the net result was you have the same hand, it's a chop, but kind of felt risky.
Yeah, I mean, it was about, I think, 14 or 15 big blinds, and I think the thinking is that, one, Sergio felt like he was going to be live against
Right.
the range that Centaurus is going to shove with. You know, a lot of the time Centaurus will shove all pairs there, basically, because they still had fold equity. They're going to get a lot of raise folds out of the chip leader opening from the button. And so certainly you have two overs against all pairs, and then if you're up against an ace-x hand, you're not that far behind. So I can see that thought process for why Sergio decided to make the call. And also it's about knowing your opponent, right? If your opponent is very capable, like Centaurus, they're going to find more shoves in that spot than somebody
Yeah.
who's playing a little bit tighter, who's a little more inexperienced.
You see, that was excellent analysis, Maria, and probably accurate. However, I much prefer Tom's version of events, which is that Sergio made the call to give you some confidence in your performance of the Chop Pot song.
Well, you know, I'm definitely going to be sending Sergio a thank you note.
And that is a straight for Alberto on the turn. And Zedric is drawing dead.
Definitely want to protect a bit from that backdoor flush draw that appeared, but Sergio just doesn't have enough to call.
And one thing we should highlight is look how the table is divided down the middle, and we have the big stacks and the shorter stacks, and how it's pretty even now between Future of Me, Alberto, and Zedric, all between 4.5, 4.8 million right now. Okay, Zedric's now moved over 5, but no longer as dominant a chip leader as he once was. Z Kalango, you're very welcome. Calm down.
Sweeney, who decided to defend, ends up leading this flop, feeling like it's going to favor their range a lot more than the pre-flop aggressor, but Future Me's just going to shut that right down.
Centaurus open jamming now. Lines will still be 35.70 for another 10 minutes or so. Then they will go to 40,000, 80,000. And we see Sergio Aido opening here with 8-7 of clubs. And we see Ronan Sweeney get aggressive with ace-10 of diamonds. The defend from Zedric and the dreaded ace on the desk. Looking at the hand from Centaurus' perspective.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that when you're up against a big blind defending range that they actually have an ace in their hand, whereas in some other spots it's more likely.
Yeah.
Which is why you see Centaurus betting again, you know, still hoping that they can get value from 8x type hands, and oh, that river as well.
Yeah, this is a horrible card for Centaurus, but it goes check, check. Centaurus now playing 10 big blinds. We officially have a short stack at this final table. We officially have a player in the danger zone. Danger zone!
I'm glad that you don't expect me to take that over when Stapes isn't around, because there's only so many musical acts that I can be a part of.
I got you. Shoves small to big with Jack 3, gets called by King 7, has the flush draw, but there's a king on the turn, and Barry Greenstein makes another appearance, and we lose Centaurus. The German is out in 5th place, cashing for just over 57k. And we are down to 4.
Yeah, Centaurus didn't do anything wrong. It just were some really standard spots that didn't work out for him.
Sweeney now the shortest stack, but not uncomfortable. And a pair of 7s, the best hand here. The gut shot straight draw for Sweeney. Does not improve on the turn. And does not improve on the river. Instead, more flaming Barrys for your viewing pleasure. Another ace on the river. And the bluff from Sweeney. 266,000. Nah. This is a case of, am I going to raise the river? Not am I folding?
Yeah.
There's your raise, Sweeney.
And Sergio just really able to play a lot of these hands to perfection. You know, we see that he check raised with just one pair, with top pair earlier of queens. And, you know, being able to find a raise, you know, whether or not you get paid off is one thing, but just knowing when your hand is good and that you could potentially get called by worse is a nuanced skill that not everybody has.
Alberto opening with ace-jack here. Ronan Sweeney with a dominated ace, ace-10. Oh, all in. And called. A domination situation. And the ace-jack is holding. The ace-jack is good, and we lose another player. Ronan Sweeney, who won a WCOOP title last week, is eliminated in 4th place, cashing 475k with 3-handed, and Alberto Moran has reclaimed the chip lead. The stacks are deep, and the stacks are relatively even. ICM or play, asks
Wow,
Alberto. We could
quick.
see a deal.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show, James, the amount of respect I think Alberto has for the other 2 players that they're playing with.
IDC, what does that mean?
I don't care. I think.
Okay.
I'm not
Sure,
young enough or cool enough to know what everything means, but I think that means I don't
Okay.
care.
So Sergio's apathetic. Alberto's up for it. Alex Kulev is up for it. So let's see if they all tick the button and if they all look at the numbers and see if they can agree something. Let me just check. How much will be left in play if they did do a deal? 7.5k. There is a set aside in all WCOOP events. If they were to try and break down the prize pool, and they are going to talk about a deal, it'll be paused at the end of this hand. They would still have to play, obviously, for the title, the trophy, and 7.5 grand. And seems like they're interested in an ICM chop. That was the question that Alberto asked, Maria.
Yeah, I think these players are definitely familiar enough with each other's game to know, hey, let's just look at the numbers and, maybe we can just go ahead and take what's fair and play for what we have to set aside and move on to the next tournament. I mean, there's a lot of events going on right now during WCOOP, so...
There is. Of course, we don't get to see the deal discussions. We don't get to see the numbers that are either proposed or agreed. If a deal is agreed, the only thing we'll be sure of is that they will have redistributed the remaining prize money and they're playing for 7.5k plus the trophy. Of course, sometimes you get a stickler. Someone wants more. Someone isn't happy.
Yeah, and usually it's the chip leader who would end up asking for more, but considering Alberto was the first person to initiate the look at the numbers convo, it kind of feels like they
Yes.
just want to be fair about it.
That's true, actually. The chip leader is the one who proposed it. That's an astute observation, Maria.
I guess this is a good time for Cedric to be disconnected versus
Oh, wow.
during actual play. Oh, they're back.
Deal completed. Back online, agrees the deal. And again, guys, a reminder that we don't know the terms of the deal. We don't know the numbers. We won't know the numbers until players are eliminated and their payout is announced. The only thing we know for sure is the advertised payouts are no longer relevant, and we know they're playing for 7.5k and the trophy. Thank you, Sergio. 7.5k for the win. And a WCOOP championship trophy, guys.
Yeah, and to be fair for the
The
viewers,
glory.
I think...
The glory.
And don't forget the glory. There's always glory involved in winning a tournament. But I think for the viewers, James, it's a little more exciting because when you don't have that big pay jump to worry about, you're going to see people play for chips versus, for those ladders. And that's a little bit more exciting usually for us.
That is true. And that king on the turn gives Future of Me the advantage. And of course, ICM no longer a consideration. The money left in play is winner takes all. Watch as they now grind out for this 7.5 grand over the course of the next 4 hours. With the blinds going up every 30 minutes and the stacks as they are, I mean, it's pretty much even Stevens right now.
Yeah, I mean, none of these players are going to give it away, regardless of the fact that, you know, what they set aside versus what they're guaranteed right now is somewhat nominal, but they're going to make the right and good decisions. But also, you're going to see thinner value bets. You know, you're going to see maybe a little bit more brazen pre-flop action as compared to when ICM was still on the table.
Ace 10 versus Ace 10. The problem is I'm not sure there is any way for us to go, Maria, but down. So I kind of want someone to win this, either on the turn or river.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. That was a chop pot, Maria. And you know what they say? Everyone loves a chop pot. Terrible, I'm being told. Terrible.
No, I don't.
Guys, the delay must drift. Because I paused for exactly the same amount of time as last time.
Oh, I don't. These numbers don't look terrible to me. Who's in your ear? Who's the person spoiling it for me and making me all self-conscious before I see these other numbers come out from the chat?
It's Chris. He is a broadcast professional, but he is also Australian.
Chris?
So, you know, you have to balance those two things out. I think the problem is, as I said, once you achieve the previous performance, it's very difficult for anything that follows to not be terrible by comparison.
Oh no. Once Raksha agrees, though, you know that it's true. That's... And here I just thought Chris had something against me personally, but no,
I mean, he does, but that's not relevant to his judging of this particular performance. They're not mutually exclusive concepts, Maria.
True, true.
So that's now going to be the running joke, guys. Every time the Chop Pot song is less than stellar, someone's going to say, do a count in. I like it. Okay, that's now the meme. Oh, this is all Zedric, King High, and the flush draw has the chip lead right now. Vinny Vince, did they agree on a split? Yes, Vinny, you'll notice it says deal completed. I appreciate we're still advertising the actual payouts. They are no longer relevant, other than that's the amount of money that they would have carved up between the three of them. A reminder that all deals are done privately, and we don't get to see what each player locked up until they bust, until their payout is announced on screen and published in the tournament lobby. We do know that 7.5k is the set aside, and that means that they are still playing for 7.5 grand, more than a buy-in, and the championship trophy. And because of that, in all seriousness, I joked about this being a potential 4-hour grind. You'll notice they're not just getting it in blind. The pressure has been taken off to a certain degree, Maria, but they were only half tongue-in-cheek when they said they're also playing for the glory. Winning this title would be nice for any one of them.
Yeah, you know, stats matter for the elite players, and they want that additional W Coupe title or their first W Coupe title, depending on who ends up winning here.
Blind v blind, ace-5 versus 10 deuce. Blinds have just gone to 40-80. A reminder that it's 30-minute blind levels at this final table. And a pair of fives on the flop for Alex Kulev. Ace-5 still ahead. Does Alberto want to bluff at this? Nope.
Yeah, probably because they don't really have any relevant blockers, so they feel like it's not going to be the best attempt at a bluff for that reason, and now, doesn't even get the opportunity on the river.
Well, that's going to take us to the second break of this final table. 5-minute hiatus in the action, and then we will get back to it and continue to play this out down to a winner. A three-way deal agreed between Alex Kulev, Alberto Moran and Sergio Aido. They are still playing for $7,500 in the trophy. And a reminder, we will find out the numbers agreed in the deal. We'll find out those payouts as and when players bust. And certainly we'll have all the information at the end of this tournament. Whether that will be during the next session remains to be seen. Joe Stapleton back with us, and I thought this would be an opportunity, guys, to just preview what we've got coming up in the next few days and in the next couple of weeks with these Cards Up streams, because there has been a slight change to the advertised programming. So the rest of the week will play out as we originally planned it. Tomorrow, a slice of pie. Not only is Mason going to be handling the replay of the Badugi in the afternoon, but he'll be with us on the live stream, Joe, because we are going to be doing a non-Hold'em variant. It's PLOB. It's PLO 8 tomorrow night. A game I have never covered in my life. I've played it badly, but never streamed it before. So I'm relying on Mason to do most of the work, quite frankly.
Yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow when there's no low possible and I don't realize it till like 3 hands later. That's my favorite, where I'm just like, someone's got oh wait, there's no low here.
Fantastic. And before anyone asks, anytime the pot is split is not the same as a chop pot. So don't expect a song every single hand. But that is another World Championship event which starts tonight, concludes tomorrow. And Wednesday, we'll finish this triple header of World Championships, Heads Up. And that's going to be another slightly different one, Joe, because we're not going to just fast forward to the final and see the last 2 players. We've got the semi-finals as well, coming back with 4 players. So 2 matches being played simultaneously, plenty of switching, and then we'll see the final 2 play for the first prize and, of course, that all-important trophy.
Now that's very cool. Have we covered I know we get to Heads Up in every tournament we cover, but we have never done a plain old Heads Up tournament before, have we?
Nope. We will be on new ground, as far as I'm concerned, for the next 2 days. Griffin will be with us for that stream on Wednesday. Now, next week, slight change. There will be no stream, no replay on the Monday. Tuesday will be the final table of the $530 Women's Championship. We're back to No Limit Hold'em. Hurrah. We will be streaming that one. And then on Wednesday, and this is an event I'm very excited about, Maria, we're going to have the 25k Super High Roller. And by the middle of next week, all of those players should be back from Cyprus. We should have a strong field, a strong lineup, and hopefully another strong final table to cover.
Yeah, I'm sure Linus will be at the final.
And then, for the final week of the series, it's all about the 10k No Limit Hold'em World Championship, a.k.a. the main event. In previous years, the WCOOP main has been a 5k. It's now a 10k, as it should be. We'll be streaming it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the final week of the series. That means you will get world-famous bubble coverage on the Monday. We'll see them play down to the final table on the Tuesday, and then we'll have the FT on the Wednesday. Question, Joe, I don't know whether we will be able to provide bonus coverage or at least see a few hands, a little bit of side action from the medium and low mains. Maybe, just maybe. And the PLO main will be covered as a final table replay. We'll focus exclusively on the No Limit Hold'em. I like it, though, when we're able to showcase not just the final table, but see it from the mid stages through to the late stages. I kind of feel it's the closest we come to our live events coverage, Joe.
Yeah, no, I like it, especially because it's the main event, right? So we get to tell that whole story, or at least most of it, if we're not covering things from the very beginning. Cutting into the middle of it is more than enough, in my opinion. But yeah, it's super fun to go all the way from those middle to late stages right down to the winner. I do like getting attached to those players, and it makes the win more exciting too.
Yeah, Yeah. And in theory, Maria, you're meant to be part of our main event coverage unless you cross borders and play the main.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of leaning towards playing. Like I said, I just knew that, being a part of these broadcasts and watching the streams, that I would get the itch to play. And I think I'm going to do it.
Okay, well, we'd love to have you on the feature table / final table. Right now we're returning to the FT of the World Championship of Six Max No Limit Hold'em. I will leave you in the more than capable hands of Maria Ho and Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. Welcome back. World Championship event, a 10 5K buy-in. I was getting excited for the main event coming up next week. A 5K buy-in, down to the final 3 players. Everyone guaranteed around 100 grand now, except there was a deal. We don't know what the deal was, but we do know that they are playing for 7,500 extra doll hairs to the winner. Alberto, the shortest stack, although everyone fairly deep at this point. I didn't even have time to hear all the stats of these players before it got down to three-handed. Everyone's resumes.
Yeah,
Future
it
of
definitely
me,
went.
Alex Kulev.
Yeah, went pretty quick to get down to 3. I mean, you consumed 7 or 8 hot dogs between the time that
I
got
only
down
had
to-
4 hot dogs. Alberto wins a little one with aces. So 2 W coops for future of me. Alberto with no W coops, so a chance for his first. And Cedric. No W coops either. All right, so we get a chance, a 2 out of 3 chance here for a first-time W coop winner. Top pair for future of me. And top pair in danger of getting run down by an ace or a heart or a 10. $512,000 is the bet. Third of the pot. This feels like a call to me. Call indeed. Brick River. 9's good. Checks. Cedric does not bluff. Future of me up to 8 million. King trait suited for Cedric. 1 spade on the flop. King high out in front. Bet and take it down. Some hands. King 10, ace 4 folds. And Jack 6 defends. Pair of jacks for Cedric, pair of kings, and a straight draw for future of me. Alex Kulev, future of me. Bets, gets called, turns trips. Cedric does not pick up any additional outs, but might like his jack better. Of course, Cedric is Sergio Aido. And does get away from the jack. And future of me just whittling away these two at the moment. Five, 6, 7, 8 is a straight draw. It's going to be hard for the classic straight draw make a pair with 6 and 7 out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get to the turn. Pocket sevens for Alberto. No way to flop a set. We'll just hit the button anyway. All the sevens are out. All right, let's get our pretty little faces back in the mix here. As Alberto does take it down on the not very scary board for 2 sevens. Joe Stapleton, Maria Ho, WCOOP 2022. World Championship of 6 max. 2 pair for future me. Little threads up poker. We do know a deal has been made, still playing for the World Championship title. Nice try, Alberto.
Yeah, definitely a really tough board. I think once you get called on the flop to continue to try to bluff on.
We have King 6 here. Are you happy to see this, Ace Maria, or are you thinking that maybe you get counterfeited sometimes?
I think for the most part, you're happy to see it. You know, you're hoping that your opponent will have a lot of ace-x combos, and you want to bet a sizing that will get called by, you know, just one pair, even though there are a couple straight possible out there.
Cedric under the gun, Jack 5. Seems like an easy getaway pre-flop. King Deuce limping in. Ace Queen for Alberto. Big raise.
King Deuce suited still pretty playable in this spot.
Mm-hmm. Playable, makes a fine top pair here. Ace Queen continuing. Four of clubs on the turn. Almost $1 million in the middle. Future of me, maybe gonna bet for value now, the way this hand's played out.
Yeah, definitely likes the fact that there are some misdraws from the flop, which, you know, would make some of your opponent's bluff catchers a little bit more enticing to call with.
Yeah, not an easy spot here. You don't want to be giving up all of these hands, do you, Maria?
No, I mean, certainly if you think your opponent will peel some Jack X or Queen X that are gut shots from the flop, then you are going to be beating those.
Does make the correct fold. And Future of Me just continues marching down the field. 9.5 million now. So someone's going to win their first WCOOP or someone's going to win their third WCOOP. That's it. No other options. And an up and down
Kind of
draw
surprising
for
that
Future of Me.
Sergio hasn't won a WCOOP, actually, just given how long they've been in the game. And, you know, they definitely have a lot of other wins under their belt, both live and online.
Yeah, I mean, Sergio has, what I can see here, 14.2 million in live earnings, but no WCOOP title. There it is. There's the pair with the open-ended straight draw. Oh, but someone... Nope, it's another pair. Told you.
Told you it happens, you know, 2 out of every 50 times.
Is that the actual stats on it? And another pot going the direction of Alex Kulev.
While you were gone, by the way, Stapes, there were a lot of people in chat asking, you know, if you've taken me out to that dinner you owe me yet. And I just wanted you to know that I didn't bring it up. Somebody else did.
You're bringing it up now, though.
Well, I just want to make sure you know what was talked about when you were on your break. I don't want you to be left out of the loop, of course.
I appreciate that, but you know that by doing this, you've opened yourself up to the fact that I tried very hard to take you out to dinner on Friday night.
I wouldn't say you tried hard. You were kind of glad that I had to bail a little bit. It was a Friday. There was traffic. You were coming off of a very busy week.
I was able to make good use of the time that I got back. But I was looking forward to going out to dinner with you. But I thought we were going to go to like a really nice place downtown.
Oh,
we should go
well,
to like Bestia or something like that. I've never been there.
I've never been to Bestia. Okay, I'm going to try to get us a res. It's a little hard to get a res on short notice, but I'll see what I can do.
Future
And-
ahead here in this pot. Yes.
No, Stapes, they don't have hot dogs at Bestia, though. There's not some type of gourmet hot dog on the menu you could order.
Cedric turns the flush draw. I mean, look, I can just get a doggy bag and make my own hot dogs with it when I get home.
You're like, let me see, the Italian sausage, please, and some garlic bread. Thanks.
I'll make my own, thank you. Board bricks out for Cedric. Future of me with a pair of 9s and a pair of, I'm going to say 2s this time. A pair of 2s on the board. And Cedric gets snapped off immediately. And Future of me up to 11.5 million. This has just been all FOM. Pocket jacks now for Kulev. Queen, 9, deuce, 2 clubs.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt that Future of Me has been, you know, picking up some hands and making some pairs, making some 2 pairs, and that's going to get it done.
Nom nom. Nom nom.
It's pocket 8s, snowmans. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. 2 overcards for the pocket 8s. Neither of them hit Future of Me, but he don't care. 8s peel once. King of that turn. Oh, how gross would a 10 be on the river? Oh, no! So annoying. Oh, it's so annoying. Poker's so rude. Jack high just wins it.
Well,
Unbelievable.
Sergio has you to blame for that one, so.
Sorry, Sergio. That is so dumb. That's one of my least favorite rules about poker. 8 should still win there. This is so messed up. We gotta do something about that. I gotta make some of these rule changes stick.
It's called PLO.
Right. Yes. Exactly. You gotta use your hand. Screw that. Screw that playing the board nonsense. All right. Alberto finally wins a pot. Future of me over 12 million at this point. I liked people's suggestion for the Chop Pot song. Someone just said, why don't you try going at the same time?
Somebody in YouTube chat had a good suggestion, but I'm just trying to work it out in my head to make sure that I am not the only person that thinks it could be good. Okay. Richard Costello wrote, even though there is an audio time lag, I assume that as far as viewing the action, you guys are in sync. So why don't you have your starting point as the moment the lyric appears on the screen?
No, it's all
No?
different lags.
Even our feed?
Num num num.
Like, all right, well, we're going to work on
But
it.
like, there's still audio that has to come. Like when you see it and then you say it, it's just it's a space-time continuum thing. I don't really have the words today. Diamond draw for Future of Me. 8's good for now. Should I do this again? So it'd be, oh, how gross would a 9 be? Okay, just the diamond. Sorry, Sergio.
Yeah, either way, Pocket 8's is not working out for Sergio so far. We'll just
No.
put it that way, because even a 4th diamond would not help.
Oh, no, it would not. Well, luckily we didn't get a chance to do it to him this time. No river.
I don't know why you're saying we. It's you. You're doing
No,
it.
no,
to
no.
him.
You're gonna be responsible
Nope.
for this also.
I refuse.
Just a raise and take it there. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Occasionally it seems like folks are still making ICM folds. Like, there's no point to finishing second here, is there?
No, but you want to be able to make good decisions so that you could potentially still finish first, right? I mean, I don't know.
Top pair for Alberto. Second pair for Future of Me. We have not
Yeah,
seen Alberto take many pots down facing Kulev.
yeah, but this type of run out so far will definitely cost Kulev some more chips. 2 flush draws on board, but you got to feel pretty happy having 7s and 3s.
Alberto firing again. Sizing seems pretty good to get a call out of a 7.
Yeah, with all of those draws out there, I definitely don't expect to see a fold from Kulev, especially because he doesn't block any of those draws, right? So it could be very likely that your opponent can be sitting there with not only some spades or some hearts, but the 10-8 as well. Ooh.
Future of Me sets Alberto all in, who snaps with top pair, gets the full double.
Yeah, Kulev really just trying to protect their equity there with what they thought was the best hand.
'Tis but a flesh wound. Future of Me still over 10 million in chips. Pocket 10s now. Pocket jacks for Cedric. This could get weird. There is the 3-bet. 600,000. And Future of Me shoves again and gets snapped by a better hand, nearly back to back. And Jack's hold. It's the double up, Fairy.
Very
out double ups.
unfortunate
You get a
cooler.
double up, and you get a double up. Cedric out. Trey, deuce of diamonds. And Future Me flops a pair and a flush draw. Oh, that's funny. The Great Do Nothing says double Oprah. I like it.
I like it too. Winner.
Double Oprah. So the board bricks out for the diamond draw, but this 3 will be good at showdown. And Alberto checks it back. Future of Me on 8 million now. And is going to start clomping his way back. Picks up 2 small pots in a row. Maria Ujawa wants to know the name of the book you're reading.
Currently,
Yes.
I'm reading the Tom Clancy book behind me.
Which one? Which Tom Clancy book? Is it a Jack Ryan novel?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Clear and Present Danger?
No, not that one.
Patriot Games?
Nope. Keep guessing.
Well, I only know the ones they made movies out of. I think the only one I actually read was Patriot Games.
I'm actually reading, the one by my bedside is actually one that I try to read a chapter of every night. And yes, that is a straight on board, if you were wondering, Stapes.
Yep. Okay. Just checking.
And it's called Ikigai, and it's like about Japanese secret to happiness, basically, the way that they kind of live their life. I had a lot of people
Jack Ryan
recommend
book?
it, so no. No, I'm saying the one that I'm
Jack
actually
Ryan's
currently
just like
reading
raking sand
is-
in a garden. Future of Me is going to keep distributing chips, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, you
Jay
can tell by the
Flax in the chat.
sizing that they're just going for a little bit of value, hoping to get called by worse, but not, kind of a blocker bet as well. But in this spot, up against it.
Is Rainbow Six a book also, or is it just the video game? Oh, no!
Oh, wow. Okay, hold
Future
on.
Me.
Wait a gosh darn second. Using those 10s as blockers to Broadway. I mean, I don't think you're going to get a straight to fold, but this would have been a very, very good play against a lot of other hands.
And
wow.
that hand was a big deal. Another double up for Alberto. Future of Me drops below 5 million. Alberto up to 7 million. Cedric witnessing this entire thing and now basically even with Future of Me.
I mean, I'm not mad at that at all. When you take that line on the river and bet that small sizing, you end up inducing raises a lot of the time. And then to re-raise as a bluff with the blockers to the nuts is actually a very well thought out play. It just isn't going to work against the wheel, but you're going to get, I think, 2 pairs to fold there pretty easily. That was
So if I made that
sick.
move in a tournament, let's say that you had taken a piece of me in a tournament and I made that play, you would be like, all right, yeah, it was a nice effort.
If you were able to explain to me your thought process behind it instead of just like button clicking, yes, I would have been okay
Sure.
with it.
If I said I had 2 10s, so I'm blocking, I could potentially have Broadway here.
Yeah, versus you saying to me like, oh, I just didn't like the cut of their jib, or oh, I had too many, or I had too many drinks, or oh, I had to go
Yes.
play slots.
Or the guy, no, but the guy, he just didn't look like he had it.
Unacceptable.
Future of Me betting into the best hand again. It has been a pretty slippery slide for Future of Me in the last 5 minutes or so. Jack on the turn is an overcard to the 9s. Does not hit Future of Me. I like the wording here from Enyel Burskin, who says, Future went crazy with that payment. I like it. Oh, wow. Another shove from Future of Me into the best hand.
Yeah, I mean, definitely undeterred. Definitely a better spot, I think, for it to potentially work than the other one.
This would be a hero call, I believe. Second pair. Makes the call and holds Future of Me out in third place. We know that they made a deal, so ignore the 98,000 that was advertised for third place. But man, from overwhelming chip leader 10 minutes ago to out in third.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't even say that either of them were a spot that if you don't really think through, they make sense, right? With that king-queen situation, you have 2 overs, you have a gut shot, so even if you get called, you should have a lot of equity there. And if you're going to get a hand like a 9x, you know, a second pair, a bottom pair type hand to fold, that's going to be a really nice pickup. And so it wasn't a case of, oh, this person just bluffed the last hand and, you know, they were tilting or whatever. I mean, it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I know how it looked, but I don't think Future Me is in the business of ever giving it away.
Right. I think it's good to clarify that because I think to the untrained eye, there's a very simplistic way of looking at that, which is probably not correct, and that your analysis is way more likely to be the case, despite what it looks like on the surface. And I don't know what's going on here. We're time banking with 10-4.
I mean, this person could just, you know, I was just going to say, you know, once you make the deal, you might be firing up more tournaments on the side. You're like, okay, well, I don't have to focus quite as much now. No.
I mean, maybe Alberto thought it was over. The eventual
or they were just trying.
7 deuce too, by the way. I mean, it was almost a good, you know, it was a tough decision knowing what the hands are.
They were trying to level the playing field. They're like, oh, you know, Sergio had to use pretty much all of his time bank early on with the 9s full, and now, you know, I'm just gonna make it so that I also have no more time bank.
Looks like Alberto is back in the driver's seat. Slight chip disadvantage. Blinds going up in less than a minute. These players are pretty deep. Ace queen for Cedric.
Definitely going to hear from the ace queen.
And Jack 10 tray on the flop. Ace queen does take it down. We do hear from ace queen. Sergio pulls away a little bit, now cracking the 10 million mark. And there go the blinds. Ace, 6, deuce, 2 spades, pair of 6s, Cedric, domination, rotation. 5 on the turn. Kirill asks Joe, where are the players from? We know Sergio is Spanish, but he's repping Mexico. And Alberto is repping Ireland. Alberto calls the turn bet. Oh, sorry, it was Kulev who was repping Ireland. Excuse me, Moran is Dominican Republic.
Wow.
Wowee.
You know, the man had a plan when he called the turn.
Yeah. Things pretty close to even Stevens again. King
Definitely
6
at
Jack
this
5, 10 Trey.
At this stack depth, you're really not going to find many folds pre-flop. You know, they're just so deep that you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to be defending a lot of hands to raises. We're going to see a lot of flops.
We are going to need a cooler if things are going to end anytime soon. For the turn. And Cedric takes this one down. Playing heads up has got to be exhausting, especially this deep, right, Maria?
Yeah, because you're pretty much never going to be folding pre. You know that you're going to have to see a flop, and then you're going to have to continue really wide on flops as well. You know, with high cards, you're not going to expect to connect too much. So, you know, you have to focus in and really make sure that you are paying attention.
Big old flush here for Alberto. Yeah, it just seems like, you know, you're just, because you have to play every hand. It's just constant thinking. How do I win this pot? How do I? And you're just not going to connect very often. And in those cases, you have to get so much more creative, and it just seems so exhausting.
Yeah, and the average MTT player, right, doesn't have a lot of heads-up experience in the sense of, you know, if they're not a heads-up specialist, they only really play heads-up when they get to this point in the tournament. But you factor in being this deep, and it's going to be a little bit of a different game.
Looks like Sergio accidentally wrote something in the chat.
Wouldn't that be funny if he was like on Skype trying to tell his friend like, "Oh, Alberto's terrible. Heads up."
What an idiot. And Cedric back over 10.5 million now. Raising king queen and misses everything. Has the gut shot to the nuts. The nuts straight at least. King on the turn gives Alberto a diamond draw. And it's going to be the Flaming Berry. And the pair of kings for Cedric.
Yeah, Alberto has some showdown value, of course, you know, beating queen high, 10 high type hands that potentially could have had a straight draw, or, you know, some diamond that was looking for the 4 flush to come in. Here, though, wow.
Oh, my goodness. What seemed like a pretty trivial fold has just turned into a all-in bluff with bottom pair.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing. Has the 5 of diamonds, you know, definitely trying to rep flushes. You don't really need a boat to do this on the end with.
Oh, my
Wow,
goodness. Sergio makes the call with second pair and is correct. It is over. That could have gone so long, but some cagey play to close things out there, shockingly, did not go the distance. There are the deal payouts. Future of Me finished in 3rd place and did get the least amount of money in the deal, it seems. Alberto, 2nd place for $132,000. And Cedric is a world champion with nearly $140K in winnings.
And I think what's key is all those payouts were relatively even, which I think reflects how even the stacks were when they agreed that three-way deal. Congratulations to all three players for locking up a six-figure score. And congratulations to Sergio Aido on his first ever WCOOP win, and it is a World Championship trophy. He is the world champion of Six Max No Limit Hold'em. I have to be honest with you, Maria, coming into today, I was a bit shocked to see that Sergio had never won a WCOOP before, considering his accomplishments, but this is a good one to win.
Yeah, and especially when you start off the final table with that huge fold, being put in such a tough spot,
Yes.
and then not really expecting much from there, but then to come back to win it obviously took a combination of skill and run good.
Yeah, and Joe made that incredible fold very early on in the tournament, put himself in a position to stay alive, stay in contention, and then close out with a pretty impressive call as well. I mean, I guess against a lesser hand, that river bluff might have worked, but I agree with you. I did not expect it to end like that, all that quickly.
Yeah, crazy. And someone called it early on. They said if he makes this fold, the full house over full house, if he makes this fold, he's going to win the tournament, and he did. So that's pretty incredible.
He did. So congratulations to Sergio Aido, a world champion he is. And we will crown another tomorrow because it is Plob on the agenda, PLO 8. And we will be joined by Mason Pye for that stream back here tomorrow at the usual time. But for now, from Maria Ho, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan, it's good night from the PokerStars Arena.